To the girl who works at Starbucks down the street from my house on Delmar Heights Road, swear to God, I'm not a stalker. That's the title.
Sound like
You are really enjoying yourself. And I support it. All right. When I asked you for a chai latte, what I meant to say was, I was walking past, I saw you in the window. To be honest, I only came in here because I had to know what your voice sounded like. Instead of saying that, I got really nervous and ordered the first thing on the menu. I don't even know what chai is. Or a latte, for that matter. I imagine that when God made you, I bet he cussed for the first time. I bet he turned to an angel, gave him a high five, and said, God damn, I'm good. You were that beautiful. I spent the last 5 days trying to figure out how I'm going to introduce myself to you properly. I finally figured it out. It's going to be something like, hi. That's all I got so far. But I think it's a good start. See, I want you to bite my lip until I can no longer speak. And then suck my ex-girlfriend's name out of my mouth just to make sure she never comes up in our conversations. I want you to come to me like an afternoon. Come to me slowly, as if you were a broken sunset with a lazy sky on your shoulders. If you let me be your sunlight, I promise that I will penetrate your darkness until you speak in angel wings. Pull me close to you. Tell me that you love me, and then scratch your future into my back so I can be everything that you live for. I promise that I will die for you daily and then resurrect in your screams. I promise that I will love you as if it's the only thing I've ever done correctly. See, I'm gonna be honest, it's not often that I find myself eager to write about love. In fact, every time I try to write about love, my hands cramp, just to show me how painful love can be. Sometimes my pencils break just to prove to me that every now and then love takes a little more work than you planned. I heard that love is blind, so I write all my poems in Braille. And my poems are never actually finished because true love is endless. See, I've always believed that real love is kind of like a supermodel before she's airbrushed. It's pure and imperfect, just the way that God intended. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not much of a love poet, but if I was to wake up tomorrow morning and decide that I was gonna write about love, my first poem would be about you. About how I love you the same way I learned how to ride a bike. Scared, but reckless, with no training wheels or elbow pads, so my scars can tell the story of how I fell for you. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not much of a love poet, but if I was, I'd write about how you have the audacity to be beautiful, even on days when everything around you is ugly. I'd write about your eyelashes and how they're like violin strings that play symphonies every time you blink. If I was a love poet, I'd write about how I melt in front of you like an ice sculpture every time I hear the vibration in your voice, and whenever I see your name on the caller ID, my heart plays hopscotch inside of my chest. It climbs onto my ribs like monkey bars, and I feel like a child all over again. I know it's gonna sound weird, but sometimes I pray that God somehow turns you back into one of my ribs just so I would never have to spend an entire day without you. And I swear, I'm usually not even a love poet. But if you were to, I'm usually not a love poet, right? But if I was to write about love, my first poem, it would be about you. After all of that, she was like, so how do you feel about me? And I said, put it like this. I want to be your ex-boyfriend's stunt man. I want to do everything he never had the courage to do. Like trust you. I swear that when our lips touch, I can taste the next 60 years of my life. See, last night I had a dream. In this particular dream, I died in my dreams, awoke not knowing I was still asleep, and decided to walk. See, that night, I walked in my sleep. I slept in my walk. I walked backwards until I saw you for the first time, and I could barely muster the courage to introduce myself all over again. You see, I've been trying to find the right words. I've been trying to take the right steps for what seems to me like thousands of years, but something always seems to go wrong between us. We lived in Egypt.